wanted to share this story that I've never really shared out loud. But a month before I defended my dissertation, my final dissertation, I really had thoughts about quitting. Can you imagine? And even like it sounds so weird for me to say that out loud. I was so close to the finish line, but was scared about what was on the other side. That fear of the unknown was something that made me feel like I was willing to stop right then and there. Welcome to the Writing on My Mind podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Emmanuela Stanislaus, doctorate coach and diversity consultant. I finished my doctorate in 4 years while working full-time, traveling the world, and balancing a busy social life, and now I'm on a mission to create community for other BIPOC women to complete their doctorate degrees. Join me as I discuss the ups and downs of pursuing a doctoral degree. I'll be sharing personal stories, and I'm bringing some friends along for revealing conversations about their doctoral journey and provide inspiration for others to level up as doc students. Hello, and welcome to the Writing on My Mind podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Emmanuela Stanislaus, with another episode, and it's a good one. If you are feeling stuck or isolated in your graduate program or doctoral program, you will want to continue to listen. So, my role as a doctorate coach has been helping doctoral students, primarily women of color, to push through their programs. That includes creating strategies to help them be more efficient with their time, learning to advocate for themselves, serving as an accountability partner and cheerleader to them, and putting systems in place to successfully complete their degrees, and helping them with life after they complete their degree, right? You have the degree or you're working on it and you want to strategize on your career. I know that it's January and some people are still riding high from it being a new year or for there being a new, administration in office at the federal level, and you're feeling like you can take over the world. Some of you are probably still feeling tired from the last semester or the craziness of 2020 as a whole. And so I wanted to talk directly to you. I do want to start off by saying that I know that I've shared that I've completed my doctorate in 4 years while working full time. That doesn't necessarily mean that it was an easy ride for me. It was a daily struggle to balance all of the things. I didn't have the most supportive or involved advisor. And today, I literally had a faculty member say to me that my advisor uh, was tough. Like, no kidding. I know that personally. I also had times when I wanted to quit for a variety of reasons, which I'll definitely dive into. But, you know, that's just to say that the road is long and there are going to be times when you feel stuck. And you may not even know why you're stuck. And so that's what this whole episode is all about, to hopefully help you gain some clarity as to why you're feeling unmotivated or stuck at this time and to help you to get unstuck. So, I have 6 reasons why you're stuck, along with ways that you can reclaim your power. Because even in those times where you're feeling stuck, I do believe that you have the power to course correct. So let's jump right into it. So, just to clarify too, I have these in no particular order. Okay. So, number one, you don't have a support system or you don't know how to tap into it. Graduate school and the doctoral process is truly isolating. Dr. Ashley Adams spoke about her isolating experience in episode 8 and how the dissertation process in particular was the most isolating experience in her life. So, if you haven't had a chance to listen to that episode, you'll definitely want to give it a listen. You can feel as if no one can relate to what you're doing or what you're experiencing. You may be the only fill in the blank in your program, right? You may be the only woman, the only woman of color. You may be the only Black woman, the only Asian woman, whatever it might be. So, because of this, you may not feel like you can find support from your faculty or classmates. That's when you have to start looking outside of your program. Get a sense of what you need. Personally, I struggled with not knowing what to ask for. I had to learn to take a beat and process my feelings and thoughts. And the biggest thing for me was time, that I needed more time. So, things that I needed to do, eliminate things that took time away from what I needed to do in terms of my reading and my writing. So that was outsourcing the laundry or the cooking, all of those kinds of things, helped me to gain an additional hour to concentrate on the things that I thought were important to reaching my ultimate or achieving my ultimate goal of finishing my doctorate degree. The other thing is you have to give people credit. They have the ability to rise to the occasion and support you in the ways that you need. However, you do have to know how to communicate what you need so that they can do what it is that you would like them to do to support you. If you don't have a support system, here are some people or roles that you should think about when building out your support system. The first one is the cheerleader. This is the person that will continuously motivate you throughout the process. And for me, that was my hubby. He was constantly letting me know that I got this and, to stay the course. Another person to add to your support system is the editor, someone that can give you critical feedback about your work and your writing along the way. And for me, that was my friend, Dr. Linnell Hodge, who will be a guest on the podcast soon. Another person is the distractor, someone to keep it light or to keep you connected to the things you love by helping you to take a break when needed. And for me, those were my sisters. They talked to me about everything except for what I was studying, which was very necessary to help me stay grounded. And finally is the nurse, someone who will check on you and make sure that you've eaten or you've slept or you've taken care of yourself, because all of that is necessary during this doctoral process. And for me, that was my mom. She was constantly checking in on me, making sure we had something to eat or cooking for me. And so that was super helpful. Another thing, too, is to consider joining the Writing on My Mind community. Again, that's the community that I am building out for women of color to support one another, because I know that there is a need and there's a void in these programs. A lot of times we find ourselves being the only, like I said before, and that could potentially be a support for you. All right, so the second reason why you may be feeling stuck is that you're in your own way. You're probably like, how can I be in my own way? There's no way. This can manifest itself in a number of ways. You can be doubting your abilities. You can be telling yourself negative messages. You may also be engaging in self-sabotage behavior. This is when we knowingly or unknowingly prevent ourselves from accomplishing our goals. And it could be focusing on the wrong things, on the negative things instead of the positive things that are occurring. All of these things can make you feel stuck and leave you spinning your wheels. You want to start to look for patterns. What messages are you telling yourself? How are you stopping yourself from moving forward? You have to work on ways to retrain your thinking. The Big Leap is a book that I recently read, which is written by Gay Hendricks. And in the book, he talks about the upper limit problem, which is tied to this whole idea of getting in your own way. I would definitely encourage everyone to read this book. In the book, Hendricks describes how we really have to take steps to recognize when we do the things to knock us back to our feelings and positions of comfort. For example, I wanted to share this story that I've never really shared out loud, but a month before I defended my dissertation, my final dissertation, I really had thoughts about quitting. Can you imagine? And even like it sounds so weird for me to say that out loud. I was so close to the finish line, but was scared about what was on the other side. That fear of the unknown was something that made me feel like I was willing to stop right then and there. The upper limit problem really explains that phenomenon, and the whole idea of being scared about what it meant to be a doctor and whether or not I was really ready. The answer, of course, was yes, I was ready. But let me tell you, those self sabotaging messages were insane and incredibly powerful. I was able to recognize the messages that I was telling myself and know that they were not my own. They were lies, and I needed to tell myself truths, which is what I would recommend that you do if you are experiencing that. So, thinking through positive affirmations that you can tell yourself to counter negative messages is the best way to deal with that. I also recommend reading the book Big Leap, which was such a fascinating book and very eye-opening, and I'll definitely add a link to that book in the show notes as well. The third reason for why you might be feeling stuck is that you're not prioritizing yourself. It sounds counterintuitive, but you need to take time to rest and do things like exercise to fill your cup. A lot of times we just keep pushing ourselves when we need to actually be sitting ourselves down somewhere. How many of us spend 30 minutes reading the same two lines of an article because we're tired? I'm so guilty of that myself. And it would definitely be more productive for me to just go to sleep and try to tackle the article the next day feeling refreshed and energized. Many of my clients who are not able to prioritize themselves are not able to concentrate or be productive. They end up developing more serious health issues, which end up derailing their progress even further. So, I can't stress the importance of putting yourself first. It's really easy in the process to feel like you are not in control, but in actuality, you are in the driver's seat more than you know. Focus on the things that you can control. You can control the amount of time that you dedicate to reading or writing, that you dedicate to sleeping or working out. So, my advice is to focus on that. The number four reason to why you're feeling stuck: you're not taking time to reflect. During the whole doctoral process, but particularly during the dissertation phase, it is so easy to get disenchanted by the whole process. It happened to me. So I can definitely speak on this. I remember feeling like my research wasn't really contributing anything meaningful. And I think part of the issue was that I was just so engrossed in the process. I was so deep into analyzing the data or reading and writing and analyzing some more that I just couldn't see the connection to what I was doing and the change that I wanted to make in the world. And even my dissertation chair made a comment about how fast I was going through the interview process and analysis and writing the draft. I found myself so focused and motivated by the deadline that I set for myself that I wasn't really clear on the meaning of the work that I was doing. His comments really helped me to see the importance of stepping back, taking breaks, and talking about my research to people who knew nothing about the research. That process helped to put my research in a different kind of light for myself. Additionally, journaling about the process and how you're feeling really helps you to process what you're thinking and keeps you connected to your work. So, my advice would be stepping back, to give yourself a chance to reflect on the work that you're doing, reflect on the thoughts that you're having based off of the information that you're gathering, to journal so that you can process how you're feeling, how you're thinking about the whole process, and that will help to keep you moving forward. Number 5, you're not prioritizing the work. You have to do the work. And in other words, you're procrastinating. Personally, I've learned that I procrastinate when I am scared, right? So, like I talked about in one of the other items, when it came to the dissertation, I was scared of the unknown. I was scared of criticism, of being hurt by the criticism from my chair and others, and that would cause me to be frozen. I would be frozen from moving forward. And that was something that I had to take the time to recognize. After recognizing the pattern, I was able to call it out and move past my fear, adopting the whole do it scared mantra, right? So, like, even if you're scared, do it anyway. Related to this item is creating systems that work for you specifically. That requires creating a routine in terms of when you will set your schedule for the following week and physically writing down your goals to hold yourself accountable. So you have to decide, are you going to be reviewing the upcoming week on Sundays or Mondays or Saturdays? What are your non negotiables in terms of meetings? And make sure that you add those to your calendar so that you can build your schedule around that. Are you more productive in the mornings or the evenings? Structure your reading and writing times around that, around the times that you're the most productive. Are you more productive in your home or outside of your home? For me, I was more productive in a coffee shop. So I planned out when I would want to be at the coffee shop and what I would be working on during that time to create the structure that I needed to be productive. And at the end of the day, review what you were able to accomplish and adjust as you go. But at least you started off the week with goals for each day. This is particularly helpful for projects where the tangible results of your work are slow. So that was number 5, making sure you prioritized your work and creating systems that work for you. So finally, we have number 6 for why you may be stuck, and that is you forgot your why. This is so important during the doctoral journey. Knowing your why and keeping it front and center is going to propel you along the way. I talk a little bit about my why in episode 1, so check that out. But my why was when I was sitting in that room of 32 high level administrators and noticed that I was the only Black woman in the room. Not only was I the only Black woman, I was the only Black person in the room. I just thought about how many other rooms were similar to that room, but didn't include Black people. And those rooms were filled with people making decisions and policies that impacted students who looked like me. At that moment, I decided that I wanted to have the credentials that would allow me to be a part of those rooms. I didn't want anyone to have any reason to say that I wasn't qualified for any of those types of positions. Of course, we know that life isn't that simple. There are so many things at play that will systematically keep me out of those rooms, but that moment in the room kept me going during my doctoral journey. You have to have a why and keep it and call on it when needed. That is what's going to keep you motivated throughout the process. So, there you have it. Those are my 6 reasons why you are stuck, along with ways that you can get unstuck, right? And claim your power. So, just to recap, number 1 is you don't have a support system or don't know how to tap into it. So, making sure that you take the steps to build out the support system that you need and communicating what you need from the individuals that make up that system so that you can have that system work for you. Number 2, you're in your own way. So, working on the messages that you're telling yourself, minding that upper limit problem, and finding ways to negotiate those. Number 3, you're not prioritizing yourself. And so making sure that you're taking care of yourself, you're getting the rest that you need, you're pouring into yourself so that you can be productive. Number 4, you're not taking time to reflect. So just taking a step back to just take in all of the things that you're doing. This is hard work, and we don't want it to be a flash or a thing that you don't remember or you feel disconnected to. So, taking time to reflect is important. Number 5, you're not prioritizing the work that needs to be done. So, creating systems to help you be productive and to help you accomplish the goals that you have for yourself. That is the key. And then finally, number 6, you forgot your why. And so making sure you stay connected to your why, keeping that front and center so that you can have that to motivate you during times of difficulty. So, the biggest thing is to know that you have the power to get unstuck. Re listen to this episode when you're feeling stuck and know that I personally believe in you. You can do it. As a doctorate coach, I've helped other women who've struggled with motivation, imposter syndrome, time management, and I can help you too. That's the reason why this podcast exists. And I also have my coaching business that can also support you. I've helped past clients create strategic plans to complete their programs by their established time goal, and I can help you too. And again, the Writing on My Mind podcast is built with the ultimate goal of getting women of color doctoral students unstuck. The community that we're building, the Writing on My Mind community, will include a number of things with that mission in mind. It will have built in accountability and support and opportunities for collaboration with other Writing on My Mind community members. We'll have chats with past and future Writing on My Mind podcast guests. We'll have monthly webinars on topics to help you succeed in your doctoral program, weekly and monthly challenges to help you be productive in your program, monthly virtual writing retreats to help you be accountable and meet your writing goals, and access to exclusive events including writing intensives, masterminds, group coaching, and so much more. You do not want to miss it. If you're looking for a community of women of color doctoral students who are committed to cultivating a safe space that is supportive to help you accomplish your goal of completing your program, then I want to personally invite you to be a part of the Writing on My Mind community. Visit writingonmymindpodcast.com or check out the show notes for the link to add yourself to the waitlist to the community that will finally open next month. I cannot wait to see you all in there and to show you what I have in store to help you complete your degrees. Again, this is all in the mission of No more onlys. I do not want any more onlys in these programs. I do not want any more onlys in these high level roles. So we're changing that with the Writing on My Mind community. So I think that is it for now. Hope you guys have a great week. Today's episode is sponsored by 87 Treasures, a lifestyle brand with products including t-shirts, sweaters, tote bags, and small canvas pouches, each displaying various designs to help celebrate everyday life and milestones. I'm a huge fan of 87 Treasures. They have the highest quality products, and the packaging is the cutest. My favorite is the Determined AF sweater, which I wore every time I visited a coffee shop or library to get some writing done. Head over to 87treasures.com and use special code WOMM to get 15% off your first order. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Writing on My Mind podcast. If you'd like to support the podcast, make sure you subscribe and rate the show on Apple Podcasts and spread the word to other women of color doctoral students to grow our community. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Dr. Emmanuela. And if you're looking for a group of real women of color doctoral students to help you accomplish your goals, join the Writing on My Mind community by visiting writingonmymindpodcast.com. See you on the next episode.